Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've got another Top 5 Tuesdays for you today, and Mona and I decided we were going to talk about our favorite eyeshadow brushes. So if you're interested in hearing what my top 5 favorite eyeshadow brushes are, then just keep on watching. So just a couple things before we get into my top 5 list. This is a series that I do in collaboration with the Glam Dr. Mona Khan. I will leave a link to her video and to her channel down below in my description box. Definitely check her out if you haven't already. I think most of you here have probably already checked out Mona, but don't forget to check out her video. I can't wait to hear what her favorite brushes are because I think we have very, very different brush collections. So I'm excited to see what she picks. The other thing I wanted to mention is this makeup look. If you are interested in this makeup look, I'll be posting a playing with makeup video where I created this look using like lost, forgotten loves in my makeup collection. I'll be posting that I think tomorrow on Wednesday. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to subscribe to me if you're interested in this content, and let's get into this top 5. I bet most of you, if you've been watching me for a while, can probably pick out at least 3 out of the 5 brushes that I'm going to be mentioning. I hesitated to talk about my number 1 eyeshadow brush because they're not making it anymore, but I think there are still some out there somewhere. So I thought, let me just mention it because I use this probably in every single video where I apply eyeshadow. So this is the Tom Ford number 13 blending brush. I have 3 here. I know I have 4 of them. I don't know where my 4th is, roaming around here somewhere, but I have 3 of them. That's how much I love this brush. Tom Ford recently just changed their brushes over from natural haired over to synthetic hairs. So I love the natural haired brushes. This is undyed goat hair. It just picks up product. It lays product down beautifully. It blends product beautifully. And I talked about in one of my videos how because Tom Ford brushes are made by Hoto over in Japan, and they hand make all of these brushes. They're like hand rolled and hand like placed into the ferrule so that none of these brushes are actually cut into the shape. So because of that, a lot of handmade brushes, you know, even though they're the same model, will look a little bit different. So the very first Tom Ford number 13 brush I got is the most domed, and that is my favorite. And all the subsequent ones that I purchased are a little bit pointier. You can see that this one is slightly pointier, and then this one is like pointy. Do you see how pointy that one is? So I think a lot of people enjoy a blending brush that has just a little bit of a tip there. I don't. I like ones that are completely domed out. Otherwise, I feel like I would use a different brush if I was looking for something with a point. I mean, you know, you can angle your brush anyway and kind of get the effect that you want. But when it comes to a blending brush, I really enjoy the dome top. So my original Tom Ford number 13 blending brush is my absolute favorite brush. I have to really kind of baby this one. The second brush I'm going to mention is kind of a cheat because it's 2 different brushes, but it is the Soniaji Worker 1 brush and Worker 2 brush. I thought I would just mention these together because they are essentially the exact same brush except for the hair type. So we've got goat hair and we've got undyed goat hair. So undyed hairs are a little bit more universal, you could say. They're a little bit more a jack of all trades because you can use them with cream products. If hair has been dyed, you run the risk of kind of leaching that dye when you use it with a cream or liquid. I personally have never experienced that problem when it comes to dyed goat hair, but there is always that possibility. So you should always use undyed natural hairs with creams and liquids, and so that's what I use my Worker 2s for. I always use these for like my potted liquid eyeshadows. It blends them out perfectly, and I love the shape of these. So again, they're the exact same shaped brush, and I love the Worker 1, the dyed goat hairs, for powder, because once you dye the bristles, they kind of become a little bit more grippy, and so these actually pick up powder. Probably an imperceptible amount more than the undyed goat hairs, but I just like to kind of separate the two. You know, use this for powders, use this for creams. If I'm desperate or if I'm traveling and I need to just bring like 1 brush, I don't have a lot of room, I'll bring the Worker 2 because I know I can use both. But the Soniaji bristles are so soft. They're really magnificent brushes. These are so densely packed that they pick up a ton of product. And because of the way they're shaped, they're flat, but they're also kind of thick. So I think this is the most universally shaped brush that I have, where I feel like I can use it as a flat shader. I can use it as a blender if I want, maybe not in circular motions, but I can definitely kind of work a shadow out if I need to in a blending kind of way. they're just fantastic. And because it comes to a point too, if you just like come at yourself like at a 90-degree angle, you can really get along your lash line and even use this as a liner brush. It's definitely not going to be quite as precise as like a pencil brush, but if you're in a rush and you're just sort of wanting to use just like one brush and not fuss with all these other ones, this I feel like is your best bet for that. Like, yeah, it just serves so many different purposes. And then speaking of flat shader brushes, this is my absolute favorite. This is the Haku Hoto J5523, and this is undyed goat hair. And I don't know, I just love the shape of this. Again, it just has that soft curve at the top. It's flat, but not too flat. It really is kind of like a finger. So I love using this with the darker shadows and just placing this and kind of patting shadow along my outer corner. That is pretty much how I use this. Of course, if I'm going to do like a one shadow kind of look, I'll, kind of put this all over my lid, but I like to pat with this and then I will just sort of gently go back and forth with it. I don't necessarily use like windshield wiper motions with this brush, but I'll like shimmy it across my lid to kind of blend it in, and it just works perfectly. And then I've got another Soniaji brush here. This is the Builder one. So this brush is great. It starts really fat and it gets really, really thin at the top here. And it's so firm and it's so densely packed. It's great for picking up those hard to pick up kind of like shimmer shades. It's also great like if your shadows have developed a little bit of a hard pan, these brushes like cut right through there. So this is Builder 1. There's also a Builder 2, which is bigger. But I thought I would mention this one because I like to use this as a liner brush as well, because the tip of this is so thin that it makes a super, super liner brush. It just makes for really, really precise placement of shadow. So I like using it kind of like in the inner corner for like highlights. If I want to place some down here, it fits perfectly right here for me. It's just a wonderful brush. Again, there's like so many uses for this brush that you can come up with. Really great. And then last but not least is a brush that I probably don't use that often, but it is such a uniquely shaped brush to me, and I think it does such an amazing job if you want to just deepen the outer corner of your eye out. And this is the Isom W36 brush. It's amazing. This is sable hair and it has basically a round ferrule, but then it's cut at this angle. I like to dip this into a dark shade, and because, this brush is pretty fluffy, you're most likely not going to like mistakenly put down too much eyeshadow. And so I'll like dip it into some dark color. I'll place it at an angle right here, like wherever you want to place it, and then I just flick it across. And you get this nice kind of like sharp line, and then it just blends it in really, really seamlessly. You know what? I'm going to demonstrate this particular brush because it is so unique. I'm just going to go into a dark brown shade. I have my Armani quad here in number 2, Avant Premier. I'm just kind of patting the brush onto the pan. I'm going to tap off any excess, and then I'm going to place this at the angle that I want, and I'm going to flick. It's a little bit weird because I have mascara on. It's kind of in the way, but I'm going to flick. And it's like this instant deepening of that outer corner and like an instant blend. So easy. I just love it for that. It's a perfect shape and it just blends like beautifully. And like that's it. You just added quite a bit of dimension in there. And of course, if you don't have any more pigment on here, you can just go in and just blend out to your heart's desire. But it gets that initial placement down like perfectly. All right, so that is it for my top 5 eyeshadow brushes. So I'm just realizing that all of my favorite brushes, no surprise, are natural hair brushes. Those are my favorite types, but I am exploring synthetic hair brushes a little bit more. So I think I'll be doing like a top 5 synthetic haired brushes once I kind of create a list. I'm playing around with a lot of them. Anyway, don't forget to check out the Glam Dr. Mona Khan's video and her channel. Again, the links are down below. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video.